What's up, Murd? Mama of Kenny and my mama.
Good afternoon.
I'm
Good
LT, your
evening
host
and
here
good
at
night.
Recovering Addict. I know, Mama. I know. Hey, Veronica, what's going
I
on?
wish you too.
Oh, Veronica, you missed a good one yesterday. Oh, man, we had a special guest. His name was Steve. I'd highly encourage you to go back and watch that one. He told his story of addiction and recovery. He's got 6 years clean now, and I was on the edge of my seat pretty much the whole time, just like Bob said on his channel. You guys like that intro? Did you hear the intro? Yeah, Steve was really, really good. That was deep. That was so deep last night. Yeah. I have a couple friends at work who watch this, and they're not into addiction or anything. They haven't been through addiction or recovery, but man, they text me and they're like, dude, I was tripping. Hey, Gina, you made it right on. I'm glad you're here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Where's Rena?
No Raina yet. We only got 4 people hanging out. That's okay.
We got more.
As we start signing on, oh man, hope the internet's doing good. It's 8:02 Thursday night.
Just took my meds.
I have to actually go into work tomorrow. I have to work now
Oh, you do, huh?
on site like about twice a month. But other than that, I'm teleworking from home from 5:30 to 3. That's what I do. First half of my day. Second half is get cleaned up, get ready for the day or whatever we do, and then get on here at 8 and then go right to bed. That's our whole day. That's what we do. We hang out.
After an episode of Chernobyl.
Yeah, have you
Highly
guys seen
recommended.
that show Chernobyl? It's a not Netflix, HBO series on that nuclear core plant that exploded in Russia. That is a good show. That is some scary stuff there. Back in 1986 is when it happened. They tried to cover it up. Hey, Raina.
Happy
welcome.
birthday, Rena!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's Raina's birthday.
from all of us to you. Happy birthday.
Happy
Oh, Mama Kenny seen it. Yeah, Veronica, rewatch that Steve one. That was a really, really good one. So we're back to our regular scheduled program and what we've been doing here. If you haven't caught our show Monday through Tuesday, we were going through chapter 5 of Staying Sober. We have about 2.5 pages left of this one, of that chapter 5, and then we'll jump into chapter 6 probably tomorrow night and see where we go from there. My plan is to continue to keep on going through this book until we get to the end, and then we will jump into another book. I don't know which one yet, but we'll figure it out. I think that kind of helps keep this content rolling in between our conversations here and checking up on you all. I know Veronica's doing good. I know Cody, I just saw him on Sober James' channel. He's doing, 72 hours down now sober. Proud of that guy. That's way awesome. And Arena's doing good out there and hunkered down in Salt Lake. We're all hunkered down right now. And for those of you that have not been here before, we go live every night at 8 o'clock. Until this lets up, we'll be here every night at 8 o'clock Mountain Time on the dot on Recovering Addict. And then on days where we don't have to work the following day, we'll go late. So one night we actually had a good solid 4-hour live stream. It was intense. It was awesome. I had a blast that night. There's like 10 of us hanging out for 4 hours. We hung out until like
10.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A little
Yeah.
bit after 12. Just kept talking, rolling through the chats, getting to know each other, talking about addiction and recovery and whatever else topic came up. You got any wisdom for us today, Linky?
Wisdom. I'll be back with my wisdom.
You gonna go find some wisdom?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, Raina, that was a fun night.
Thanks for sharing us.
Yeah, thank you. And Gina, you said you found us just searching around, huh? What were you searching for? Let us get to know you. Everybody say hi to Gina. This is her first time on the show tonight. You what's your sobriety date if that's what the case is, and whatever. How can we get to know you better? How can we serve you? And while you're typing that, I'll give us a little recap of chapter 5. If you remember, and you've been here the whole time as we go through this chapter 5, we've been talking about the mistaken beliefs of recovery. Link, what you got?
I'm just looking.
Oh, okay. So mistakes about relapse create self-fulfilling prophecies. When mistaken beliefs become truth to you, you act on those beliefs as they are true. Mistaken beliefs about recovery and relapse.
Sounds like you're saying bleeps.
Bleep, bleep. Really?
Mistaken bleeps.
Oh. So the role of alcohol and drug use in recovery and relapse. So basically, one mistaken belief is that relapse is only when you start missing the AA meetings or thinking about using. Or a mistaken belief is when you relapse, and that's relapse, which is true. I mean, you're going back and you're not doing, but relapse is when you start thinking out of recovery. What's up, Hector? Welcome to the show.
I got some wise words, Dad.
All right, Linky, what you got?
Before you be sure to taste your words before you spit them out.
Yeah, that's a good one. Think
That's a good
before you
one.
talk. Taste your words before you spit them out. I like that. That's good for all of us, especially some of us that are loose-lipped and fly off the handle.
Especially for sarcasm.
So here's five little points about what relapse and recovery are not. Recovery is abstinence from alcohol and drugs. Just because you quit means you're in recovery. Not true. Relapse is alcohol and drug use. Also not true. Completely true. So anytime I abstain from alcohol and drugs, I'm in recovery. Or anytime I return to alcohol and drugs, I'm in relapse. Both of those are misconceptions. We learned that abstinence is not the only goal of recovery. We learned that relapse does not occur suddenly or spontaneously without warning. Remember? We said we have our triggers. We see some warning signs. We see our thoughts that start going and meditating on alcohol or drugs. We start contemplating missing AA or NA meetings or any type of recovery, whatever recovery program you're dedicated in. It doesn't have to be 12 steps or AA or NA. But when you start drifting away from your AA and NA, there was something before that led you there. Relapse always has a warning sign before you get there. And then the warning sign over here is a downward fall into drug use and alcohol use. And that's when here's where you begin the relapse. This is just the conclusion of it. You started relapsing out of recovery. Gamati said that's a good one, Licky.
Thank you.
So yeah. Hard time finding out how to get on the dang chat. It is kind of confusing sometimes, especially on your phones. I know YouTube's kind of moved them around a little bit too. But it's all good. You're here now. We're seeing you. And we're just kind of recapping chapter 5 of Staying Sober. We started this, I believe, Sunday night or maybe even Saturday night. But we made it through. We're almost all the way through chapter 5. We're just kind of recapping what sobriety is, what sobriety isn't, what recovery is, what recovery isn't, because we have mistaken beliefs. Sometimes we have mistaken beliefs about what recovery is or what actually relapse is. Because relapse always comes with a warning sign. It just doesn't all of a sudden happen. All of a sudden you're drinking. You have something happened in your mind, sets you off, and you are down the road. And that's when relapse starts. And then you hit, which is the drug use and alcohol use, that's when you actually take off as a result of when the relapse started.
Hi, Alicia.
Alicia's here? Oh, sweet. Hey, what's up? Hey, Alicia. Sometimes you need to say farewell to the company you keep in order to break free from the patterns you're in. No doubt about it. Especially when you quit doing drugs. You got to delete stuff on your phone. We call that closing back doors. You got to totally get away from it. You can't go hang out at the dope house if you're trying to stay clean. We learned that if you relapse and you're back into drugs and alcohol, a lot of people will think maybe I haven't hit rock bottom hard enough yet, that I have not hurt enough to want to stay sober. That's not true. Pain does not prevent relapse. It increases the risk. So there's some misconceptions about treatment that we learned. Some people believe that no form of treatment or self-help group can help them stay sober. That's not true because it does help. Another thing is 100% or treatment is 100% effective in preventing relapse, and that's not true. So if I relapse, it's because I'm constitutionally incapable of recovery. That's false. That's a misconception. So a lot of people will quit drinking and doing drugs. They'll go to a treatment and say, oh, cool, I'm clean for 30 days. That's all I need. I'm done. I don't need anything else. I don't need AA meetings. I don't need NA meetings. And that's where it stops. And that's a misconception. They think that because they're sober, there's no point in getting additional treatment, when actually recovery is beyond. The goal of recovery is not abstinence from alcohol or drugs. Alcohol and drugs get us there, and abstinence from alcohol and drugs is a good thing. And that's what we are here for. But recovery starts when we start tapping in to what's up here and why we acted in the addictive ways that we did.
I got some more wise words.
Let's hear it, Linky.
The best view comes after the hardest climb.
What?
The best view comes after the hardest climb.
That's true.
Hi, Polly. Hi, Alan. Hi, Matt. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Summer.
Hey, Matt Murphy. Have we
Welcome.
seen you before? Summer Holt, welcome to the show. All righty. Glad you guys are here. Hey, Summer Holt, we are on every night at 8 o'clock. So my plan is, now that everybody's kind of, the usual bunch is here. I haven't seen Troy or Victor.
Yeah, Mr. Vickers.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mr. Vickers or Troy for, that's the same guy. I haven't seen him for a while. I hope he's doing okay. I might need to reach out to that guy. Alan, what's up? So this is going to be the kind of the plan. We'll try to have a special guest during the week like we did last night. And then during our regular show, we'll go through, finish this book. We'll keep pressing through these chapters. Right now we're reviewing chapter 5. We have 2.5 more pages and then we'll finish it and move on to chapter 6 tomorrow.
Someone wanted me to read it again.
Read it again, bud.
The best views come after the hardest climbs.
The best views come after the hardest climbs. So true. Yeah, you're climbing. It's hard. And then all of a sudden, ooh, there it is.
And it's beautiful.
Climbing up out of recovery. That's hard. Oh, sweet, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad James referred you. Thank you, James, if you're on.
Hope is an acronym.
So we do this every night at 8 o'clock because of the recovery or the coronavirus thing. We're actually quarantined. We got booted out of work. We are teleworking from home now. And doing this every night at 8 o'clock to supplement AA, NA, recovery, IOP meetings, or anything like that. We can come here, we can chat, we can just talk about what you guys want to talk about in the comments, and then I fill in the blanks by going through staying sober. It's a book about relapse prevention. It's a guide for relapse prevention by Terrence Gorski and Marilyn Miller. Really good book. And right now we're just figuring out what relapse is and what recovery is, the difference between the two. And we just started learning that the dysfunction begins as a mental process that AA is called stinking thinking. Isn't that right, Linby? Many recovering alcoholics have remained drug-free but have committed suicide or have collapsed physically or emotionally. And that's not recovery. The concept of relapse drug use only prevents treatment of sobriety-based symptoms of addiction. So you got to quit the drugs, you got to quit the alcohol, but you have to press into the treatment. And that's when recovery begins, is when we start figuring out what happens up here, the dysfunction in our brain. And we can't take that dysfunction in to our sobriety. We have to learn our way through that. And it's tough. It's hard work. And we need to, what I like to say is freaking put as much energy into your sobriety and your recovery as you did your drug addiction. I remember I would, no matter what, nothing was stopping me going to the liquor store unless the dang thing was closed on Sunday. And I contemplated many times driving my truck to the dang door. You know, I mean, just the way it is. Sorry about that. Tried to readjust and swiped the mouse and it took me back a screen. Did it glitch us out of there?
We're
Oh.
back.
I wonder if they could hear us the whole time. Okay, so
Raina's so confused right now. Sorry, Raina.
sorry, Raina.
It was like the earthquake shenanigans.
It's like when I smacked the microphone. I really went back and listened to that when I bumped the mic. Oh my God, what an obnoxious noise. So many sobriety-based symptoms of alcoholism and chemical dependency have been ignored or misinterpreted as psychological and psychiatric problems, depression, confusion, anxiety that emerge as symptoms of acute and post-acute withdrawal are often not recognized as the addiction. So they hear, I'm anxious, I'm irritable, I'm confused, I'm depressed, and that has nothing to do with my addiction that I just went through. That has something else. So they don't seek, they just think they need to get out of this funk. No, you got to seek treatment. It's good for you. Find places like this, read books like this, and learn. We also learned that pain plus alcohol, now this is talking relapse or anything else, that pain, this little formula, pain plus alcohol and drugs equals immediate pleasure plus future pain. Pain plus alcohol and drugs equals immediate pleasure plus future pain. And then we replaced that in sobriety. We replaced that formula with, where'd it go? Pain plus compulsive behavior, because compulsive behavior is an addictive personality type prone people like me. Pain plus compulsive behavior equals immediate pleasure plus future pain. So nothing's really changed when you're living in compulsion. And we learned that compulsion looks like eating and dieting disorders, gambling, people who want to take risks, or overworking, overachieving, having to excel the best at everything. Or a lot of people turn to exercise and they overdo that. Or sex, they do it compulsively. Or thrill seeking, or maybe they escape and they avoid daily routines by hiding out, which we're being forced to do now, but it is what it is. Or spending. You just go on a spending spree and spend all your money. Compulsive behaviors. But all those things that I mentioned can be also positive outlets of the compulsive behavior. It's okay to go out and get on a diet, to eat healthy. But if you don't do it compulsively, do it so that there's a benefit in the end, that you have a steady pace through it. It's not something you just do really good for a minute and then you fail because you're doing it out of compulsion to replace an addiction that you just went through, understanding that the mental disorders up in the mind, and it's the way that we think. It's that stinking thinking. Working and being best at everything you do is a good thing, but if you're overworking yourself out of compulsion, or if you're just trying to be the best because it's compulsive behavior, and that goes with sex, exercising, thrill seeking, and everything, right? But those can be positive outlets as well. So sobriety is abstinent. This is another formula of sobriety is abstinence from addictive drugs plus abstinence from compulsive behaviors plus improvements in biopsychosocial health, right? Quit doing drugs plus quit being compulsive in behavior plus improving your biopsychosocial health. And we learned that was becoming a better person in society and in your own mind and in the circles and places that you run. Okay.
Lindsay's got a question too.
Where's Lynn?
One up.
Here, you're in control of that when I'm on the soapbox, honey, I can't reach the mouse. So what does it feel like? I'm in pain from my current compulsion.
I don't feel like I'm in pain.
Then maybe it's not a compulsion. Maybe you have a misconception that is compulsion. Are you talking about eating or exercising? And what kind of pain are you talking about? Physical pain or emotional pain? What?
No, keep going.
It could be one of the two things. Is it healthy? Just because something feels good doesn't mean it's good for you. You know, in the end, what we're trying to say is the outcome. I like what it said about sex. I'm not one that likes to talk about sex too often, but where did it say that about it? It just said it just so wisely. Oh, so I look at, instead of saying sex, think about it as dieting or spending your money, because you want to look at the positive out between people who love and care about each other and is performed safely. Responsible manner is a joy and an asset to both partners. It's not compulsive, enhancing for both partners, a free choice by both partners, and happens in a context where negative consequences is unlikely. So if whatever you're dealing with compulsion wise, is the outcome going to be good? Are you going to have any negative consequences later down the road from it? And I think that's another way you can determine whether or not what you're doing is good or not, if it's out of compulsion or not.
Yeah, like I know you exercise a lot, Lynn B, but is that exercise going to lead to health problems? Like, because your body can only take so much before you put too much strain on it. So it might now, but down the road, too much of a good thing's not a good thing. Kind of what you're talking about? Yeah, excessive dieting and exercise.
What now? Why do you use the word excessive dieting and exercise? If you use excessive, that word just has a negative definition. Summer says, I'm a yes girl. I'm learning how to say no and put my recovery first. Awesome. I say yes to a lot of, I did too. I was a yes, even at work. Yes. What do you need me to do? Yes. And now I got a real bad attitude at work that I'm really trying to turn around.
Now you're a no man.
Now I'm a no guy, but I think I've compulsed that to the next level.
There's a happy medium there somewhere.
I'm trying to get to that happy medium.
I got another quote
Do
I
all
share.
things to God's glory is your happy medium.
Can I share this next quote then?
Go ahead, bud.
No rain, no flowers.
No rain, no flowers. There ain't no sunshine. Oh, well, that's not even close.
I'm not even gone.
That's not even close. Internalize everything instead of voicing it when I'm struggling. Yeah, let me read to you a chunk in here that this is for you, Summer. It talks about managing your post. Every one of us, if we were in a heavy addictive behavior of drug and alcohol, if you're in the first 2 years of your sobriety, you are going through post-acute withdrawal symptoms. It's just the way it is. We poisoned our bodies. We poisoned our minds with the way that we thought, set up our habits. You're in it. And to manage that, you want to vocalize, you want to vent. And this is the advice that this book gives, and I've read it about 1 million times. It says verbalization, Summer, and you're doing it. You're doing it right now. It says start talking to people who are not going to accuse, criticize, or minimize. You need to talk about what you are experiencing. It will help you look at your situation more realistically. It will help you bring eternal symptoms to your conscious awareness, and it will give you support when you need others to rely on, just like us. That's why we're here. That's why everybody chats here, thinking and feeling, even if it seems irrational or unfounded. Did we just blink?
We did blink. Abe Lincoln. Did you
Abe
just
Blinken.
say Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln.
No, I said Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln?
Where are we at?
Just right there. Lynn, I placed addiction.
I placed addiction first time with exercise. I was an Orange Theory girl. I had to quit because I was always working out. I used to work out from age 20 to age 30 or something like that to 35. I was a 2-a-dayer. I was squatting heavy. I was lifting heavy. I was in great shape, but I burned myself out because I think it was that I was a meth addict, then I was a pothead, then I was an exercise junkie, and I took it to the extreme. I was planning on doing a show, getting up on stage, doing all that stuff, but then I burned myself out before I got there, obviously. And then I became an alcoholic, had to detox, and now here I am. But if I can manage all those at that, that level, we're always told that, right in the middle.
Yeah.
People are controlling as hell. Everything in moderation. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Alicia.
Summer, I used to internalize a lot of things too and not speak up about how I felt. But then the more I listened to him talk, his feelings were important and he needed to get them off his chest, even though I didn't always understand where he was coming from, which made me realize that the way I feel is important too. And just if it bothers you, then it's important. Or if it's something you talk about, then it's important. And don't let your fear of telling people or just that fear of it not mattering stop you from talking about it. Because everything needs to be talked about if it's bothering you. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in there on it and eat on it, and then you're just going to be miserable.
Yeah. So let it out. Even if, I like what it said, even if it sounds ridiculous or outrageous, express as much as you can about what you're thinking and feeling, even if it seems irrational or unfounded.
It matters, for sure.
Compulsive behavior
I think she changed her word. Go down.
is not what you do, but how you do it. 2 seconds. Where we at?
Lynn B right underneath Cody. No, one more.
Oh, no. Wait, we didn't answer Cody.
Oh.
I've quit
Sorry,
before,
Cody.
and I've tried to dive into health, diet, exercise, and eating up, getting overwhelmed, and dove headfirst back into the booze, especially when you don't see results. Yeah. Give it to me now. That's us addicts, though. We want it right now. That's the reason I've overbought and overspent, especially in my addiction and the stuff that I want now. Is we have that give it. We want to be drunk and high. We want to feel good. We want the results right now. All of us have that tendency, and that's what makes us addicts. And that type of stuff is what we're talking about, the stinking thinking. It's not the drug use. When I was in that IOP, you guys have heard me say this a million times, there came a time where I forgot I was there because I was drinking. I realized I was sitting in there trying to get my mind better, trying to get my character defects better, and I went, wait a minute, I'm here working on myself with a counselor, and he's talking me through all my character defects and realizing the problems I have in my thinking. And I was like, oh yeah, I was here because I quit. I had a drinking problem. I totally forgot that I was there because I was an alcoholic, even though I said it every day. I'm here because I'm an alcoholic. Will you turn your volume down on that, please? Thank you, bud. Pathological dieting.
Eating so little, exercising so much.
Let me look up pathological so I don't just spout off of the mouth pretending I know what I'm talking about. Compulsive or obsessive?
Same. Can't stop. It's
So you're you know it's a compulsive behavior, but you continue to do it.
because you.
But
don't
if
feel
it's-
the same.
Do you neglect yourself? Do you neglect friends and family? Is it affecting you negatively in your mind and in your biopsychosocial health? And if it is, then it's harmful. In the end, it's harmful. From what we've been learning, it's harmful.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be, if you don't feel the pain now, Lynn, it's down the road.
Yep.
You can only exercise and not eat so much before it takes a toll on your body, on your mind, your psychosocial
Exercising so much that you're starting to.
something.
You know, Lynn, that I'm sure you know this. You're probably not to diss anybody on the channel, but from the stuff I've heard from you, you're probably the most educated on the channel. I know you're way more educated than I am. But you know, when you don't eat and you exercise, your body stores fat and eats muscle, and you're actually doing the opposite effect of what you're trying to achieve. I'm sure you know that, though. It's hard for me to share right now, but I am so happy to be here. Yeah,
We're happy
no,
to
take
be
your time. You don't want to stay, hang out in the chat. And if you feel led to say stuff, say stuff. But you don't need to bear all. We're just glad you're here. I can't stop. It's a compulsion. Yep. So sounds like you know. And you just need to find the root cause and try to tackle that. Try to figure out the stinking thinking and correct. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all.
Go down to our last comment. She just answered you.
It came down to spending time with friends or doing my exercise routine. I'll choose exercise. Well, you got a great excuse now. Sorry, I'm quarantined. I was that way too. I went to the chiropractor one time when I was in it. I was benching heavy. I was squatting heavy. I was preparing for marathons. I went to the chiropractor because my back was because I was lifting heavy, and he cracked my back. You know, he popped me all and got me, and he's like, "Now don't go to the gym after this. You're gonna mess up everything that I just did." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. I'm going to the gym." You think? And I looked at him like he was stupid. You think I'm not going to the gym? You kidding me? That's what I'm all about. That's one reason I got this tattoo right here is because of when I was in the gym, I was a vicious animal. I tried to kill people. If you tried to come, just like if you tried to drink with me, if you came and tried to work out with me, I was going to kill you. That's my compulsive behavior. I go to the top. So I'm trying to take it mellow with this YouTube channel because I don't want this to be another compulsive thing. So I'm not trying to over prepare. I'm not trying to overproduce because my goal was to just produce one video a week where it was a production video. I was going to do my 3 characters. If you've watched some of my beginning videos, you'll see that I have 3 characters that I play and edit and try to give a little message. Tuesday nights was going to be family recovery. And that was it. And then this crisis thing happened. Decided, hey, we're going to go live to support the community of people who need to be a part of a live or who need to be a part of recovery talk. Just that. You're just hearing it, getting stuff off your chest. So now that we're going live every night, I have a plan. I go through this book. I read it a little bit before I get on. I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm not going to start trying to produce videos on the weekends as well. I'm just trying to take it smooth and easy, show up at 8. If I perform great. If not, deal with it. I don't want to burn out from this. I have 5 and 10 year plans with this YouTube channel, and I'm not going to burn out on it like I've done with everything in my life by being compulsive. Here, where are we at?
That's about where we're at.
John Jones.
Yeah, John. Oh, did you see that about John Jones? I don't know who John Jones is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm Googling. I don't know who John Jones is.
When was that, man? Just recent, like today? Or am I behind in this conversation? Oh, must be. At least you know what? Sports broadcasters have nothing to talk about right now. So maybe they paid him to do it. What are the sports broadcasters talking about? Highlight reels? Let's get boring after 5 minutes. So are you healthily losing weight? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a chiropractor. I'm not a whatever you call dietitian. I know a thing or two about a thing or two, but I'm none of that. I'm not a doctor. I'm just here to give my 2 cents. But the weight that you are losing, is it healthy?
Oh, John Jones.
John Jones is a big dude.
Yeah, I'd be scared of that guy for sure.
Well, ESPN has
John
something
Jones.
to talk about today. I bet you that's all they're talking about.
Because they don't have any sports to play. This lady at work loves to watch sports, and she's real upset. I was like, you watch bowling and chess.
And you still want to lose more. You know what? Bodybuilders go through the same thing I believe you're going through. No matter how big they get, they look in the mirror and they see a small dude, like a small man syndrome or something like that. I mean, I'm not fit. And I even had guys come up into the gym that hadn't seen me for a year or two after I was really into it. And they're looking at me like, and one guy paid me an awesome compliment. He's like, what are you doing here? You're done. You've achieved the goal. You're done. Get out of the gym. And I was looking in the mirror like, I don't think so. Thank you. If you're talking about mine, thank you. So that's what I'm talking about. I put those type of videos on hold so that I can maintain this without the stress in here. Because this can get kind of overwhelming. This is our 11th night in a row. Tonight, I wasn't feeling it, to be honest with you guys. I woke up. I have to sit at my table for 9 hours every day and telework with my little green light showing. And I fear that if my green light means that I'm active, my mouse is moving, right? And if it turns yellow, oh my goodness, somebody might have to call and check up on me because they don't trust us yet. This is the first time any of us in this environment that they're used to working in is now having to trust people from home to do their jobs, which granted, I have given myself a bad reputation with my alcohol abuse over the last 2 years. So I got it coming, and I need to work through the character defects and my pride and my ego when I do get checked on to not be like that. But I can't help it. And sometimes I throw out some text to friends and say things that I probably shouldn't say. Yeah. So we got 2.5 more pages to go. Is that right? Oh my goodness, 4 more pages. We're already 36 minutes in. We may not finish chapter 5, yo. That's okay.
Oh, why a rough day, Raina?
Raina?
What's going on, Raina?
Day?
Said
Talking about marble races. Gina, that's funny. They're going down the hill. There goes the cat eye in front of the orange one. They like carved in the sand.
Knock that one out of the way.
That's funny. What's
I couldn't wait to tell you happy birthday, Raina, and sing a song I don't know the words to.
Do you have a goal, Lynn? Say, it's not healthy, but you just want to keep it going. Do you have an end goal in mind? Are you trying to get on stage? You're trying to run a marathon? You're trying to win some money? Or is it just for personal gratitude or personal acceptance? I mean, what's your goal? What's the end goal of that thing?
Way too much to talk about it, talk about it, talk about Raina.
Yeah, I can see that. As for me, I eat and I could care. I wish I could say I don't care, because I do care until I get hungry, and then I don't care. I plan on getting back into shape, but every time I plan on doing something, like we even started to go, we were just about to start hitting the gym, and things at work got weird. And then we were everything we try to start planning, as you just, I'm sure, is the same in your life with work, the situation, the quarantine, the no dang toilet paper. Everything just keeps changing. So now I'm taking it one day at a time, hoping that here we help you all and you help me take it one day at a time, and we stay sober and sane together. So now I'm just trying to live it one day at a time. I don't even care what day it is anymore. No, it's Thursday, but for schedule reasons, I care what day it is. But other than that, one day at a time. Even though I have a great diet, but I got to say, I enjoy to eat tremendously. Me too. Oh, thank you very much, Alan. We look forward to having you here as well. Alan, he is the opposite of Lynn. Lynn is trying to be as big as Alan's forearm, and Alan's chest is as big as 4 or 5.
New math. So I'm going to teach Millie math from now on.
Okay. Lynn B, I want to see bones everywhere. Really? You want the knobby knees and all that stuff? Those hip bones that poke out? I've seen that before. I don't know. Are you happy?
That's how messed up my mind is.
Oh, I read through misspellings anymore. I don't even see them anymore. Are you happy with what you're doing? Because really, at the end of the day, isn't it what we're trying to achieve is just personal happiness? Because we're sick of the lifestyle we chose in addiction. We're sick of the lifestyle we chose in anxiety. We don't want that dry drunk syndrome where we're constantly criticizing people. We're in a bad mood. Our eyebrows are always like this. And, we always have a scowl on our face, or we're depressed and sad. Isn't at the end of the day, our point is to be happy? So I don't know. Are you happy, Lynn? So let's talk about sobriety-based denial. It is very easy to take denial into recovery. So even if you have acknowledged your addiction and you've stopped using, you are used to thinking in a way that supports what you want to believe. It is easier to say, everything is all right now, I have quit drinking or drugs, than it is to admit that you need to carefully follow a recovery program for the rest of your life. Man. When it is uncomfortable or threatening to see things as they are, it is easy to blank them out or to alter them in your mind so they seem less threatening. Filtering out pain information is the way of coping that can bring short-term relief, but brings about more intense pain in the long run. The trade-off for inaccurate awareness is immediate sense of security. You can cope with painful reality, but pushing it from your conscious awareness. But there is a price, and that price could be relapse. Or have you guys heard the proverb that beauty fades? Look at bodybuilders and I look at models. I'm sure you guys have had the same thoughts. That person's going to be 60, 70, 80, 90 one day. If you can't live with the way you look today, how are you going to imagine when you look in the mirror and you have this sudden urge to iron everything and you're just hanging in the sink? You know what I mean? Set your mind up to not be obsessed with, because this flesh and skin and bones is not you. It's not who you are. And if what you're doing now and what you're trying to achieve now isn't going to last, it's impossible to maintain what you're trying to maintain into your 70s, 80s, and 90s. And we're going to be that old one day. And that's basically what that said. So it's either going to cause you into severe regret, hate, pain in the future, years from now, and that will cause you to relapse, could possibly cause you to relapse, or just be a miserable person. That's what I'm getting out of it. Just spitting what I'm getting.
Lynn, do you feel like if you don't achieve the bones you're looking for, you might relapse?
I know that's seriously messed up. We all have our issues. But if you're not happy, I would say work on being happy. Because I guarantee once you start seeing those bones stick out, it's not going to be enough bones. And then you're going to go for a little more bones. And it's just gets this. You're not ever going to see what your mind is trying to have you see. Even when I was at my fittest, I always felt like I had a pudgy gut. And now I look back at those pictures and I was like, dang, man, I look fabulous. Our mind, man, it lies to us. Our eyes lie to us. We can't, man.
It's never satisfied.
It's never satisfied.
Where do we find our satisfaction?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's our identity?
Yeah, where do we draw our identity from?
If
Are you
you're
so
Christian, you know where to find your identity.
Yep.
But if you're not, I don't know. I don't know where you find your identity.
Because that's where you find yours.
Yeah.
My lowest weight ever was 86 pounds. That's how much Alan's right arm weighs. What's that?
Summer knows where I find my identity.
Yeah. Cool. Did know. Circumstances and conditions that can set you up for making bad decisions about your recovery. These situations can lead to relapse if you allow denial, self-deceptive thinking, and a lack of accurate information to cloud your understanding of what you need to do to progress in recovery. There are signs along the way that the relapse process is occurring. If it is uncomfortable or threatening to acknowledge these warning signs, it is easy to blank them out of the conscious awareness and to twist them into a more acceptable reality. That will help you be more secure and comfortable now, but it will allow the relapse process to continue and to gather momentum until it is out of control. The symptoms of relapse usually develop on a subconscious level because they are out of your conscious awareness. The symptoms are allowed to build and intensify. You are not consciously aware of them until they are out of control. And that's the denial part. When your perceptions, judgment, and behavior are out of control, you will probably be unable to interpret the relapse process before it results in acute relapse episodes. But in this chat, I'm not seeing any. I mean, I don't know you personally, but I'm not seeing anybody that's on their way to spiraling out. This, what we're talking about. You guys have it. It doesn't seem like y'all are in denial. You guys are talking about what you know could cause you relapse. Not to think so much for your own good. Try to expand on that one there. I kind of in the opposite person. Well, that's because I overthink everything. No, you're right. See, I just did it.
We just witnessed overthinking in action.
Dang it. Damn it, Murray. You got me. What you got for us, Linky?
Drink some more chamomile.
Yeah.
I got challenge.
Bud?
Love challenges.
Make it 5.
Only 2 steps. Change that into a 4.
No, I'm not going to do that right now. You're crazy.
Could you do it?
So while relapse
Yeah.
is a very real possibility, it can be avoided through the process of relapse prevention planning. You can learn ways to manage the sobriety-based symptoms and bring them into conscious awareness before it is too late. You can learn to interrupt the relapse process before you become dysfunctional. You can learn from the past. As a matter of fact, the past is your best and most effective teacher. It teaches you what works and what does not work by allowing the past to teach you the future. And that's what I'm talking about right there, my past. I learned all my compulsive behaviors, because every time I start something and I decide I'm going to be good at it, I am going to be the best at it. I am. Usually, except for being over 5'8", I can't do that. I can't dunk a basketball, but things in my control, I usually, I get up there but it doesn't last long. I'm awesome. Everybody's praising me. And then I'm like, yeah, it's boring, but not this time, not with YouTube, not with this live channel. By allowing the past to teach you how to stay sober, you can avoid addictive use in the future, and you can avoid other types of dysfunction, such as emotional or physical collapse. See, it's beyond just relapsing into addiction. You want to avoid emotional and physical collapse. Emotional is when you're not taking care of your mind and your emotions, and then on top of that, not letting that go, because Lynn, obviously, if you continue down that path and you get a little bit more extreme into it physically, your body won't keep up. They say to rest at least once a week, right? And if you don't, try to maintain I'm not trying to preach to you guys, but because you already know all this stuff, but try to maintain a routine where you don't rest at all during the week or the next week or the next. Your body will decide what day you rest, and you will crash and you will hit the sack and you will sleep. I've done it. You know what I mean? All this time, I'm desperate. That guy's testimony last night was powerful. Tell me about it, Summer. Oh my goodness.
Did you cry? We almost cried like 50
Raise
times.
your hand. Give me a high five in the chat if you teared up. I looked over at Felice. I was like, oh man, am I tearing up? And looked over. Oh, good. She's tearing up too. I've become a big baby in recovery. I'll tell you
I was
what.
looking at you for this. I was like, huh. Big teddy bear.
But man, Steve's awesome. Just, the guy walked 3,800 miles and went through 13 pairs of shoes for recovery. And he's still putting that same amount of effort into his sobriety. He didn't get into the bragging part of what he's actually achieved. I don't know if you noticed he was wearing that Weber State shirt, but he's excelling in college and doing good. And you see how he was pretty humble about it. The dude's awesome. Thanks, Mom. Ching. She said, nope, but I came close. I actually should gain weight, but I don't want to. Then don't. Just maintain. So you know full well what you're doing. And you're really, really, really smart. All right, where was I? Okay, so these are predictable and progressive warning signs that occur in most recovery people before a return to addictive use. Again, I should have restarted the computer. See, now that I brought all my computer work from home, we've got, I unplugged it. No, it's fine. I just think you need to be reset. But I got all kinds of stuff plugged into my modem. We usually try to go for the faster internet too. But anyway, we do this every night. We're going to run across technical difficulties. One day it's going to happen. We're going to bloop and we won't see it till tomorrow. But it's part of the game. Part of the game. Stuff fails. Cars break down. Cameras, batteries die. Technology, power goes out. What if the power went out? You know? Oh well, it happens.
You just have to accept the things we cannot control.
Yeah, that's why we say the serenity prayer every night before we leave. So the warning signs will begin with a minor changes in thinking and behavior. You will convince yourself that your addiction is no longer a priority issue. That's not good. That's not good. My addiction is not priority anymore. Other things become more important. You will then begin to use old behaviors instead of new behaviors you have learned and made part of your recovery program. The old behaviors trigger old problems and the use of old denial patterns. These changes increase your discomfort and make a return to not only a possible let me read that again. These changes increase your discomfort and make a return to using not only possible, but desirable. But you will probably not be consciously aware that the changes that they have taken place in your thinking and in your behavior. Relapse prevention planning teaches you how to become aware of these changes and choose positive alternatives to addictive chemicals and compulsive behaviors, and alternatives to continued isolation, avoidance, and denial. You can interrupt this pattern at any point if you learn how. And that's what we are doing. Another cool thing about going live at 8 o'clock every night is in my relapse prevention plan, I put down that I was going to read a new book every 2 months. And now here I am reading a new book to you guys. And it's cool because then I get to sit and hear your thoughts on each paragraph as it stirs in your mind, which then helps me ingest it. And I get to read it twice because I kind of proofread it before I go in case there's any of those big words I don't know. I agree with Murd. Be careful.
You can. Oh, she's not up yet.
Who?
Alicia said, "I'm so mad I missed last night. It was real good. You could rewatch
Alicia.
it."
Wow. And then, I don't know, just pretend it's live.
You can comment.
And just comment
People
like it's
do that.
live. But I encourage you to rewatch that one in its entirety, all the way until we read our daily reflections. I had goosebumps like I've never had before.
His hair was like an inch tall. He's got really long arm hair.
But it was it was awesome. You'll see. It's still awesome. So the last paragraph of chapter 5 says, before you are in trouble, you should design a plan that will allow your family, your friends, counselor, and self-help group members to help you interrupt a potential or an actual relapse episode should it occur. That's saying get some accountability partners. And if you notice the extent of the list, your family, friends, counselor, self-help groups right here to interrupt potential actual relapse, right? That means throw yourself out there. You got to, how are we supposed to help you if we don't know? And I know we don't want to throw everything on the internet, all our dirty baggage and stuff, but here's a good spot to do it as much as you're comfortable. But your family and your friends and your counselors, if they don't know, they can't help you. A few days ago, I read my relapse prevention plan, and I read it to a group of about 20 people, including my wife and my kids, my counselor, and a group of, Diana and Steve that were on last night, they both were at my transition ceremony out of my IOP, and they heard me read my relapse prevention plan. So they know what to watch for. I'll guarantee if I stop doing this and they don't hear from me for a couple days, they'll be knocking on my front door. Guaranteed.
It'll be because I called.
Yeah. So throw yourself out there so that you can be held accountable. What I'm trying to say is you can't be held accountable if people don't know. So you should make some rules that you want others to follow to help you avoid the destructive consequences of relapse. Relapse prevention planning is the process of bringing symptoms of relapse into conscious awareness and taking action that will allow you to remove them from your life. Relapse prevention planning is the process of bringing the symptoms of relapse into conscious awareness and then taking action that will allow you to remove them from your life. Our end goal is to be happy. Our end goal is to stay sober. Our end goal is to be a productive, healthy citizen and member of society, right? Yeah, Alicia, watch it tomorrow. It's good. And that is the end of chapter 5. No, what chapter is that? What's VII? 7. No, that was chapter 6. Okay.
Oh, that was part of Linky's trick. He erased the F and the E and turned it into a 4.
So tomorrow we will pick up on chapter 7. That's a good chapter. What do you guys think? What do you think about relapse prevention planning? Are you putting yourself out there enough to become to where other people could hold you accountable? Is that something you're doing and practicing in your life? I try to. Anywhere I go, especially with my counselors and my close group of friends of recovery, it's a little bit tougher now, but there's always a way. It happens just like that. It sounds so easy when you can recognize the pattern, but my addictive mind is yes, mine too. Mine talked to me in summer, and Gina, if you're still around, 47 days in, right here. Uh-oh, hope I didn't make that noise again. 47 days in, my addictive mind, my old habits, my denial, everything took me back to drinking to prove I didn't have a drinking problem. That's how stupid I was. It's crazy. And you're right, Summer. But according to that chapter, it doesn't just spontaneously happen. You have warning signs, and you don't want to be in denial, and we can learn how to not be in denial and recognize those warning signs before the end result is us relapsing and going back out, or to have our compulsive behaviors take us to an unhealthy end. I needed to. Every time I have relapse was because I didn't want anyone to talk me out of it. Me neither. And when I made up my mind, you couldn't talk me out of it. But that's just other thing. That's stuff we have to change. What I miss?
This Lynn had a question.
What if what I'm doing is helping me stay away from alcohol? According to that, recovery, when we're speaking on recovery, the end result is not just abstinence from drugs or alcohol. It's abstinence from compulsive behavior. Because what was our sobriety is abstinence from addictive drugs, plus abstinence from compulsive behavior, plus improvements in biopsychosocial health. So I'll let you chew on that one. What do you think? Is alcohol more damaging to you than what you're doing right now? You still haven't answered if you're did she or did I miss it? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Or are you working out so hard you look in the mirror and the endorphins are released and this is your compulsive addictive behavior, living in addiction? And because addiction isn't just use of alcohol and drugs, it's when you are addicted to whatever makes your mind give you those pleasures and you do it over and over and over and too much. And that's what compulsive behavior leads us to.
We read that one. Somewhere. Yeah, that one. Click it.
This one? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not, but I am not. But I'm on fire now, and as soon as the quarantine is over, I'm hitting 90. Yeah, right on.
90.
Our goal is to hit however many days in a row on this channel until the quarantine's over. If it's 90, we will go 90 days in a row. My plan is to continue doing this until this world and our economy is running back to. I know it won't ever be the same. It's never going to go back to the way it was 2 months ago. But until we get until that stability starts at the beginning and we can actually take time away from this and get out and do some of the other stuff we were doing and meeting, because I think this is awesome and this is a supplement. It's just like taking a protein shake. Which is better, take a protein shake or eat a steak and have broccoli? Obviously, the steak and broccoli would be better for you. But this is a good supplement. So I encourage you, as I will, once you're able to meet in big groups again, to get back with your physical fellowship, because we are humans designed for that type of fellowship. But for now, this is a good supplement. And I'm right there with you. I'm on fire, and I'm going to hit 90 and however many it takes to get us through this quarantine. Well, at least it's a step up. But I know, Lynn, you're a smart lady, and you know to the extent of which you are hurting yourself physically and emotionally. And I don't know, I guess it's just like any addict. We always tell you got to hit bottom if it's that bad, or maybe it's not as bad as, I don't know. I don't know how bad it is. If you're happy doing it and it's not going to harm you in the future and kill you, or you're not hurting your others around you, I don't know. It's probably not, I'm not going to say one way or the other. Yeah, I imagine you do. If you're getting the vitamins and nutrition you need, you're probably feeling a lot better. Me, I'm not eating as good as I should at all. And I'm getting barely any exercise. From working 5 days a week or 4 down, we're down to 4 10-hour days starting Monday. And then preparing and then doing this, my whole day is. And then I have 4 kids that we have to deal with. Not deal with, to raise and love and all that good stuff. Dawn says you look blessed. She commented on the main channel. Oh, she's watching yesterday's. There she goes again.
Sure.
But maybe she saw it with Steve and wanted to watch it.
Oh, maybe.
She knows Steve.
Poor Jennifer.
I felt sick most of the time when I was drinking. Oh, we already read that. Cool. All right, well, I'm going to get the kids out here. We're going to end this broadcast, and we're going to go watch an episode of Chernobyl and turn off the lights and go to bed.
Yeah, you guys should watch Chernobyl. It's a trip. That says
Linky.
it's a trip.
Late time, Ellie.
Yeah.
But if I got the coronavirus, I'd probably be in big trouble because of my condition. Yeah.
Good point.
You've thought plenty well about what you're doing, Lynn. And so now you are making a conscious decision to choose if it's wrong what you're doing, and you've consciously made that decision. I'm going to yell, so I'm going to turn off the microphone.
Oh, here they come.
Gina, we are going to read out of the daily reflection, and then we are going to say the serenity prayer, and then we will bail out of here. And I got an intro and an outro, so you'll know exactly when we're done. You guys ready?
Yeah.
March 26th. Can I read it with you? Yeah, we're all reading it.
I'm good.
It says, the teaching is never over. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him, to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge on the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. Those words put a lump in my throat each time I read them. In the beginning, it was because I felt, oh no, the teaching is over. Now I'm on my own. It will never be new again. Today, I feel deep affection for our AA pioneers when I read this passage. Really? Realizing that it sums up all of what I believe in and strive for, and that with God's blessing, the teaching is never over. I'm never on my own, and every day is brand new. The teaching is never over. Constantly teaching ourselves and learning from others. One thing I loved what Steve said yesterday, sometimes it's your time to share, sometimes it's your time to listen.
Amen.
So true. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen. And peace out.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight again. We will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And remember, work your programs, stay strong, and don't forget, we recover better together.